What's going on, Internet? I am Aries 1080p, and today I'd like to discuss the ever-popular discussion, which is what's going on with Counter-Strike Global Offensive's competitive, in particular the matchmaking system that they have, and why so many people perceive it as broken and what we can do to fix it. And we're going to look at some examples from some other games that are out right now that I feel have honed in on ways to improve the matchmaking system. Now, it is my personal belief that the current Counter-Strike matchmaking system has three problems, and I'd like to address all of those. First of which would be the fact that you can encounter teammates who are either throwers, or don't try at all, or in general shouldn't be in your match. They are bad players, they're toxic players, however you want to look at it, they abandon anything like that. The second would be the Smurfs and hackers, but primarily the hackers and the influx of them that there are at the higher ranks. It's goddamn near impossible to get to Global Elite even after a major vac wave, just because as soon as you win 3 or 4 games, here comes Johnny the Spin Botter to fuck over your day. And the third and final issue that there is would be not knowing when you're going to receive your rank up or your rank down. Games like Overwatch that are out currently not only display your rank, but your in-game elo towards your next rank, whether it be up or down. So that way you at least have some sense of forward progression as you play, and in turn, we don't even know how the elo works in Counter-Strike. Some suspect that it's rank-based. For example, if you're a Master Guardian 1 who queues with 4 Master Guardian Elites, and in turn the matches that you play are against more MGEs, you would rank up faster from the same amount of wins as your MGE friends because you're playing people that are perceived at a higher skill cap than yourself. But even that isn't confirmed or set in stone. That's just the most common theory that there is right now. Now, a parallel that I seem to be able to draw between Overwatch and Counter-Strike is that when it comes to competitive, in general, it's not going to be as easy to win without a full queue of players. Even if your team is slightly less skilled than the enemy team, if it's 5 or 6, however many people depending on the game, on the other team that aren't queued together, you still probably have a higher chance of winning. Because let's say you solo queue an Overwatch game, and you're one hell of a DPS player, but everyone else on your team thinks they are too, so you have to bite the bullet and play a healer. Well, you're basically you're squandering your talent because you're just queued with a bunch of people who don't have a predetermined team chem. The same thing is true for Counter-Strike. If I tend to go off when I have the AWP, and I go into a game, and as soon as we get the eco to afford AWPs, and I see that 2 of my teammates already bought them up, I'm not going to buy a third one because that just isn't a smart buy as a team, but in turn I'm being wasted by having to use an M4 or an AK. And the counter is true for any weapon or any playstyle within Counter-Strike or Overwatch. If you have a full team that all knows each other and knows how to complement each other, whether you're playing at the silver rank or the global elite rank, you're going to mesh a hell of a lot better than people who are randomly placed together within the match-made system. However, one stark contrast that I've drawn between Counter-Strike and Overwatch is that in Overwatch, in competitive, whether you're solo queuing or queuing in a group, I have found that way more people care about their rank and about winning in the competitive game modes. In Counter-Strike, there's an abundance of people who consider themselves throwers who just try to lose, and then people who as soon as they start playing bad will just abandon the match or become toxic teammates. They don't try and pull themselves up by their bootstraps and win the game. In Overwatch, this isn't the case. When people start losing, they'll change up their team chem, they'll change up what they're doing, and they'll do whatever they can to win the match. Now, this does happen in Counter-Strike, but there are way too many rage players and people who just abandon matches for no good reason. And I think that the best way to solve this within the Counter-Strike matchmaking system is if you frequently abandon or other players report you for being a rage player or someone who plays like as if they aren't trying, someone too lackadaisical, you get queued with other people who have fallen into that subcategory. Now, many games have done this over time, and it's worked quite effectively. So, for example, I abandon a match, and then after my cooldown, I go into the next match, and I'm just being a dick to everyone. I'm not a good teammate. I'm being rude. I'm not helping. I'm not buying with the team. I'm just all around being a bad teammate. Well, my teammates could then report me for that, and then for my next 5 or 6 games, I get placed only with these other toxic players until that time expires, so that way I can then get back to the regular system to punish me for playing in such a manner. It puts me with those other people and forces the toxic people to be with toxic people, but allows the good people to be with good people. So it will encourage the people who are good behaved to stay on that good behavior, and it will deter the negative behavior. There's a consequence for hacking. There's no consequence for smurfing, for being a rage player, or anything of that nature. So until we have a genuine consequence, or something that will encourage people to not do those things, they're going to continue to happen. This brings up my next point as to why people smurf, and is there a genuine stop to it? The answer is not really. There's not really a solution to it, because there's two main reasons people will smurf. The first one is that Counter-Strike has a lack of casual game modes that people find enjoyable. There's competitive, and while that's about it, the other game modes aren't that enjoyable or last with any real entertainment value. They might be fun for a little bit, but they're not going to hold you over for that long. A game like Call of Duty, if you're not playing through a game battles competitive, or you're in the arena mode and you're just playing casually, there's an abundance of casual game modes you can play and enjoy yourself very much in. Now, if Counter-Strike was to add those modes, there would still be smurfs. And the reason being is that certain ranks are not allowed to queue with other certain ranks if you're more than 5 ranks apart. So for example, currently my rank in-game at the time of me making this video is Master Guardian 2. The majority of my friends who I know in real life or have known over the internet for a while, who I enjoy playing with, just aren't on the same caliber of play as I am. Most of them are either silvers or gold novas. So even if we can get a full 5 queue together and it allows us to queue with the rank differential, the ranks are so heavily skewed in my favor that it turns into me trying to backpack with everyone else on my team not being able to get kills because they're silvers playing against gold nova masters. It just doesn't work out well for anyone. And then if I wanted to play with them without us having a full 5 queue, I just couldn't. It wouldn't allow our ranks to play with each other. So the only way for me to do so would be for me to get on my smurf, which I myself do have a smurf. And the primary reason is so I can play with my friends. And that isn't fair to the people who are at my friend's rank who are looking for a fair match. It's not going to be fair when they get someone who's marginally higher skilled playing in a silver lobby. It instantly skews the odds in the other team's favor. So my only potential fix that I could think of for this is if different ranks want to queue with each other, don't make it so sided to the higher rank. If a silver 1 and a global elite queue together, the ranks they should be put against are high gold novas, low master guardians, because that is the direct in the middle between those two ranks. It should not be the globals and the silvers playing against supremes and legendary eagles. It shouldn't knock it down so slightly. It should try to even it out. However, I could see how this could cause problems for people who are playing on lower skilled accounts when really they aren't lower skilled, so it enables their friends to get wins easier and in turn get their rank up higher. And my second gripe would be just add more modes that people can play casually, so that way they don't feel the need to go smurf to just relax. And the third issue we have is still, of course, the fact that you cannot see your elo in-game and know how close you are to a rank up. And the fix, it's as simple as this. Show the goddamn elo. If you don't want to explain fully how it works, you could just make it as simple as wins give you some, losses take away some, and then just display it. A number from 1 to 10. 10 is what you need to get your rank up. 0 is where you start. You need to get 10 points to rank up. If you get minus 10 points, you rank down. It's as simple as that. But you need to at least display it so that way the players know how close they are to their rank ups, and it will incentivize people to play more. Because why should I care about getting my rank up if to get from Gold Nova 4 to Master Guardian 1 it takes 5 wins, but to get from MG1 to MG2 it takes me 13 wins? It's so random and unpredictable, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes I've ranked up off of ties, but that tie only came after 2 wins. So the whole system needs to be reworked so that people have an incentive to want to get their rank up and want to try harder. But I digress. I feel this commentary has done nothing but waste your time and mine, for no matter what some dude on the internet, say, Valve has their reasons for their game being the way it is, and they aren't going to change it because of me. I think that Overwatch as a game has a much more honed competitive system, although I can see how it would be quite annoying to play by yourself when the game is so dependent on team composition more than overall skill. In Counter-Strike, all the players have the same health, they have the same everything, except what guns they can buy because of their ego. It comes a lot more down to individual skill rather than how good people are at their role on a team comp. But either way, both of these games have their competitive systems, both with good sides and bad sides, and I just hope that in the near future, any and all of these competitive shooters can learn from one another and actually develop as a whole, and we not just be caught in this infinite loop of why developers make these bad choices. So, with that, I'll leave you. Best of luck, everyone. Have a great day. Aries 1080p, signing out.